welcome to Gap at Home. Special welcome for Sebastian this morning. Have you ever wondered what it would be like if you were really small? If you were really small, everything would look really big. You could try it. You could put your head right down on the ground. You're trying it. Ooh, that chair looks enormous. So, we're going to need that to think about with what we're doing today. Now, I wonder if you could tell what these things are when they've been taken pictures. They've been taken from being very close to the ground. Have a look at this one. What do you think it is? Did you get it right? Now you're still out in the garden. What's this, do you think? Did you spot it was a clothesline? And this, indoors. It's a lot of mugs. There are some more pictures of things for you to identify in the session notes on the website. So how does being very small fit in with our story today? Well, today's story is all a long time ago. And it's way before Jesus was around at all. But there were a lot of people and they were very brave. They were able to be brave because they trusted God. They trusted that God was with them. These other people, they're the Israelites, and they're being led by a man called Moses. And Moses was leading the people to the promised land, the land that God had promised his people. It was a land flowing with milk and honey, so they'd been told. And they'd been travelling a long time, all over the place. But eventually they came right up close to the promised land, and they could see it. It wasn't far away. And now they had to decide what to do. But do you know what? These people weren't excited. They were scared. Are you scared sometimes? These people were scared. Perhaps you're scared sometimes if you are taken to nursery for the first time, or to a childminder's or a friend's house and mummy has to go away. It's scary. Perhaps you've been scared because you've been up the top of a slide or on a swing and it's a bit scary. You're not sure if it's going to be all right. Well, these people were scared. They didn't want to go ahead. But Moses knew that what God wanted him to do to make them not so scared was to find out what the land was like. And so he decided that God had decided that they were going to send 12 men to be spies, to go into the land, and they were going to go in disguise. So they might have made themselves a special sort of hat, a camouflaged hat. So this is one of the men. This is Joshua, and he's got a lovely hat. So if he's in this green land, you can't see him so well because he's got his hat on. So the 12 spies set off into the promised land to find out what it was like. They needed to find out if it was good for farming, if there were a lot of people there, if they lived in cities that got thick walls, if trees were growing there, and if it was going to be all right to go in there. So off they went. Now, if you're being spies, you have to lay low so that people can't see you. I wonder if you can get down on the ground and crawl along on your elbows, commando style. Can you do that? So you're really low down. So sometimes they had to be very low down, crawling in. Sometimes they had to be hiding behind trees, and sometimes they had to be hiding behind boulders, just so that they wouldn't be seen at all, but they could see what was going on. Now, I've introduced you to Joshua. This is Joshua, and another of the spies that went was this one, Caleb. Now, we're going to play a little game. This is Caleb, remember, and he's got a paler, he's got a big smile on his face. This one with the red jacket and the green hat is Joshua. So you have to say which one is peeping out from behind the bush. Are you ready to look? Okay. Are you ready? Here they come. You say the name when you see who it is. Yes, it's Caleb. And now behind the boulder. This is the boulder. Are you ready? Are you looking? He's peeping out. Yes, it's Caleb again. Well done. Or did you get it wrong? It's not so easy. Now what about being on the top of this hill? Up here. Oh, I'll put a boulder there first of all. Who's at the top of the hill? Did you see? It's Joshua, and yes, he's got his hat on. So all of the spies went into the land, the promised land, flowing with milk and honey, not literally actually, but there were some grapes there. And they were such lovely grapes, they picked some and they decided to take them back to Moses. They'd had a good look round and they set off back to Moses. They all turned round and they went back to Moses. And they reported what they'd seen. All the people were very excited to see them. What was it like? Who was there? Was it nice? Oh, it's lovely, they said. Lots and lots of nice green grass for the animals to eat. Lots of good soil to grow crops. And just look at the grapes. They're huge, aren't they? Have some. Really lovely. But the grapes might be big, said one of the spies. But so are the people. The people are huge. They're like giants. Now, I don't think he remembered that if you're down low, crawling along commando style, everything looks huge. They're too big. We won't be able to fight them. No, said another spy. They won't want to be friends with us. Oh dear. And all the people got scared again. They weren't at all sure they wanted to go into the promised land. Oh, Joshua spoke up. Oh, come on. We know that God's going to be with us. It's going to be all right. And Caleb spoke up and he said, they're not really that big. And I'm sure we can do it with God on our side. Come on, let's get ready. But do you know, the other spies had told everybody that it was frightening and scary and nobody wanted to go. Only Caleb and Joshua and of course Moses. There weren't enough people to do it. So very sadly, Moses had to turn all the people around and they had to go away from the promised land, away from the land that God had promised them, back the way they'd come. And do you know, by the time it was years and years and years later that they came back again, and by that time, Joshua's there. He was the leader now. He led the people into the promised land. Caleb was there. He was able to go too. But it was years and years later before the Israelites went into the promised land. It makes you think, Caleb, doesn't it? Says Joshua. If you're scared, how many times do we miss out on all the plans that our God who loves us has got in store for us? Yes, it does make you think, doesn't it? Let's take a deep breath, said Caleb. Let's do it. So let's do it today. Let's decide that we are here in the presence of God. He's right here with us. Just sit still for a minute and think of him here with you. He loves you. He wants the very best for you. So let's ask him to help us. Dear God, help me to trust you more. Amen. Now if you want to say that, you say it with me now. Dear God, help me to trust you more. Amen. Bye.